In today's video, you are going to learn more about variable assignment. To start, let's get into the R script that we've been updating throughout each video. Remember to type along with me, type the headings, and update the code as you learn so that over time you can return to your notes in order to help you remember the information. The heading for today is more variable assignment. 1, 2, 3, 4. And before we go on, let's load the code we wrote last time. You can highlight it all and press run. Now you can see in your environment pane that the variables you created last time, x, y, z, and high, are back into your environment pane. So if we put them underneath more variable assignment and execute that code with command return, you'll see that 54 is executed for the variable z. But what happens, for example, if we assign z a new value, like 100? Now z points to 100. Z no longer points to 54. The same thing happens if we look at x, which right now x equals 4, and if we assign x to 150 and I hit command return, now x equals 150. Before, z equaled x plus y. Now z equals 100. Before, x equaled 2 plus 2, which is 4. Now x equals 150. You can save the same variable to a new value just by calling it again with the variable assignment arrow here. This can be good if you want to save a new value to a variable, or it can be bad if you accidentally assign a new value to a variable when you did not mean to. So it is something to think about. If, however, I assign capital Z to 200, now I get a new variable, capital Z. It did not reassign little z. It made a new variable, capital Z. In this way, it matters if you make it capital or lowercase in R. So we say that R is case sensitive, and this goes for other variables that you make too. Whenever you name your variables, there are a couple different rules to follow. One thing that you can do is give variables names. For example, variable. And I can have this equal 1. There we have variable equals 1. Or I can call it variable in quotes equals 2. You can see that the same variable changed. If I want to make a new variable with a similar name, I can do variable 2 and assign to that 5. Now I've got variable with a 2 at the end. It is better to use long, descriptive, and descriptive here means the more information the better. It's better to use long, descriptive names for your variables so that when you come back to your code later, your code makes sense. If you want to make your variable name even longer, you can use underscores with many different words. So instead of variable 2, like I wrote here, I can make variable 10. And inside that, I will save the value of 10. So now I know that variable 10 points to 10. If I come back to my code later, I won't have to guess what variable 10 means. I'll know quickly that it means 10 because I've put it in the name. We use underscores like this to build longer variable names, and you can string them together to make longer variable names. For example, if I wanted to save an equation like 2 plus 2, I could do 2 plus 2. And inside this variable, I'm going to have this variable pointing to 2 plus 2. So we know 2 plus 2 equals 4. Here are some things you cannot do whenever you're making variable names. You cannot put a number first. If you put a number first, you'll see this error message. Our script will also tell you you've made a mistake. You also cannot use special characters like an exclamation point in your variable names. Again, error message. And you can't use spaces. So if I want to call this variable 1 and I assign it 30, unexpected symbol in variable 1, it's another error message. All I have to do to fix that problem is put an underscore. Here I delete that, and here I put the 1 at the end. And now, no more error messages. These work for me. Now that we've created variables, and I've shown you different ways to assign variables to values, you can delete a variable by using rm and putting the variable name inside the parentheses. Before I run this code, look at the environment pane. Here is variable 1. When I run that code, variable 1 goes away. This is different than simply deleting the words. Here I've deleted the words from the R script, but those variables are still alive, so to speak, in my environment pane, so that even though I've gotten rid of those variables, and those are variable 1, variable, and variable 1 like that, so even though I've deleted them here, they're still here. So I can call variable 1 down here, and I can see what its value is. If I want to delete variable 1 permanently, I simply write rm for remove, and then put variable 1 in parentheses and run the code.